And we're back. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities Podcast. My name is Jay and Gerald, coming to you live. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to be talking about diminished values. Yes, that means when you have an accident in your vehicle, because chances are you probably will, what does diminished value mean? And how can you make sure that you are not taken advantage of when you get in an accident? Are you ready to do this, Gerald?
Sure.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride while buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay, and this is the podcast to tell you what to watch out for, whether you are buying, selling, or repairing your car. With over 26 years of automotive experience, we are the Auto Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by IAUTOagent.com. We're real estate agents for cars.
Boom, booyah. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities Podcast. I am Jay. That's Gerald. We're coming to you live. And today we are talking about diminished values. This is a topic that's a very, very hot topic because the more and more expensive these cars are getting, the more and more that they are going to depreciate when you get in an accident. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a second. But before we begin, I want to thank our sponsors, IAUTOagent.com. iAutoAgent, they have two different divisions. They act as a strategic partner for business owners with fleet vehicles. They will help the business owner find those really hard to find fleet vehicles. They will help them sell those fleet vehicles and help them figure optimal times for maximum profit to get out of those vehicles before it starts costing them money. And also helping them handle the tedious tasks that they shouldn't be doing and allowing the business owner to actually run their business. And the other side of the division is called the real estate agent for car division. What is that? That's when we go in and we help an individual sell their vehicle at no cost to them. We market, we list, show the car, and we sell that vehicle and they get a check at the end. That's that simple. No going to the dealer, no doing it yourself and meeting strange people. The last part of it is we have a vehicle finder program. It's nationwide. We help you find the perfect vehicle. We deal with the dealer, and then you don't have to go into the dealership until you approve the deal. And when you want an extended warranty, you can also come to iAutoAgent. We will provide that warranty at a much lower cost than the dealer and help protect you and your investment. And Gerald, tell us a little bit about wrestling with sales.
Yeah, hey, we're rolling through. It's another season, and we do have a special episode coming up. We're going to talk with your Major League Wrestling heavyweight champion of the world, Alex Kane, the suplex assassin. He's going to be on and going to talk about what it means to be the champion of the organization and how much does he carry on his shoulders. And Jay, you'll like this. He represents the Boom YA Fight Club. So not quite your favorite phrase, but Boom YA. So it's close. And we're going to have him on. We are also on the Fired Up Network, so you can see it on TV as well. If you have a smart TV, it's right there with the streaming channels. Also on Fight Plus TV on Local Now. So a big internet streaming platform, part of, I think, about 150 channels of free TV. And our show's on that platform on Local Now. Shop Plus TV, you can see us on there giving some advice on how to buy a car right there on your television.
Yeah,
so
we're
some
on
great programming you can catch up with.
Yeah, we're on TV. And if you also want to watch us live, we are on the Facebook group page, The Auto Authorities. Just click the join group button Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central Time. That is when we go live. You also can see us on the LinkedIn page. Also, if you want to watch us, and this is what my best recommendation is, you can watch all of our videos on the YouTube page, The Auto Authorities. Just click the subscribe button and the notification button, And then you can also listen to us on all the major channels, 19 of them. Go to the AutoAuthorities.com. That's our webpage, theautoauthorities.com. And you can literally listen to us on iTunes, Pandora, Google Podcasts, you name it. And let's get right into this. And let's talk about diminished values. And I want to explain, first of all, what a diminished value is. So let's say you're in an accident and the insurance company, it's a rear end collision, because actually this just happened. It was a collision, $8,000 worth of damage, which isn't really a ton. Really, it's
Doesn't take much anymore.
a bumper and maybe a tailgate. And they're like, we'll give you $8,000. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, or even less than that, because you made an insurance claim and you took it to the body shop, you have now on Carfax that says rear end collision with another motor vehicle. It'll say whatever the amount of damage. Now they're saying minor, moderate, and severe. They're like rating damages, but maybe they make a mistake and they put moderate damage, or maybe they just put minor damage. The bottom line is this. The vehicle that I'm talking about was a Ford Bronco, 2023. Now, you tell me, it's a $70,000 vehicle. You just got a check for $8,000, which basically just fixed your vehicle. And now you have an accident report. Your vehicle is worth less money. And here's the facts. The insurance companies are not giving them more than the money for the damage. What is this going to do to you? Well, when you're ready to go sell that vehicle and you put it on like a website like Car Gurus or Auto Trader, you can literally sift through all the vehicles and you can only look at the ones that have never been in an accident, which is probably 10% of the vehicles out there. Most vehicles have been in an accident.
Yeah, it's less and less now.
Whether it's been reported or not is another thing. So here's the issue. The issue is this is going to affect your pocketbook big time. And what can you do to protect yourself? That's what we're going to talk about. What do you think, Gerald?
Well, it's something that's going to become more of an issue too, because much like a lot of things, accidents on cars kind of got brushed under the rug the last few years because there wasn't supply. If there's no alternatives, then, what does it matter? Let's just go. But it is something that's going to start eating away. And the way the cars are designed now, the dollar amount of the damages runs up really fast. Used to be the bumper was just a bumper. You could replace it for $500-$600. Now that you have forward collision warning, backup cameras, rear collision warning, adaptive cruise control, there's so many sensors and cameras, and your blind spot monitor, those signals, those sensors are buried in your back bumper. You hit a bumper now, it's not just the $500 bumper cover. You can easily run up to $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. And the gates for minor accident to moderate, minor is 500 or less. There's almost no car that's going to have a minor accident anymore. It's almost impossible. Moderate is 5,000. And virtually any accident you hit, you're going to hit a moderate accident now. Because under 5,000, again, almost impossible, because you start replacing sensors, you're done. Even a tire. Say you hit your wheel. Okay, the wheels are about 1,000. You have TPMS sensors. They're going to be another $300-$400, and then you have the tire. One tire, you're almost over to a moderate accident now. So it's something that's going to become a bigger and bigger issue as time goes on.
And one of the things that really brought this to my attention is I get this question asked a lot to me. It's like, what do you know about diminished values? The only thing I know about right now is that it's next to impossible to get these insurance companies to fork over money. And now there's companies out there that are representing the consumer. However, I talked to an attorney recently that specializes in accidents. He specializes in making sure that you do the right thing when you're in an accident, and that when you're hit in a car, it's going to jog your body. I mean, it's gonna hurt you, even though you may not think it hurts you. It does, and you should be paid for that. Now, what it's really going to do also is it's going to really hurt your vehicle too. And it's very hard to get a vehicle totaled out these days. So now you have to go back to the insurance company and say, hey, I have a $70,000 Ford Bronco 2023. I need to get some money for that. And it was crazy because this insurance agent actually was the one that told me about it. And he's like, well, what do you think it's worth? I said, well, I can tell you this, on higher end vehicles, it makes way more of a difference than if you're
Sure.
in a $10,000-$15,000 vehicle, Gerald?
Yeah, I mean, what does it matter?
No.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, you're asking somebody to spend $70,000-$80,000. They're going to want to know if it had $10,000-$12,000 of repair damage, right?
And
But
you're,
I don't think the insurance company is going to fork over an extra 10 grand. I really don't.
no, they're not. And we're going to talk a few minutes about alternatives here in a second. But I can tell you this, Gerald, and I know you know this. So I'll never forget. I was working with a customer. This was years ago, on a Range Rover, and the Range Rover said accident report.
Mm,
Don't know exactly what happened other than what the Carfax said. I could not find anybody that wanted that vehicle after that accident. Not one person. And another example is, we recently sold a Range Rover through IAUTO, and we disclose everything that we possibly can. We make them sign off on the Carfax so they know exactly what they're buying. And man almighty, was that a hard vehicle to sell.
sure. Yeah, because you can't work on them. And if you do have to work on them, they're mind-numbingly expensive.
Ugh, astronomical. And BMWs is another one. I remember we were working with a BMW, and I could not find anybody to buy the vehicle. It's like, oh, it's been in an accident. It's like, well, but that doesn't mean it's a bad vehicle. And it also depends on when the accident was. If the accident was last week and they decided to trade it in, that's a little bit of a red flag. But if it was 6 or 7 years ago and they've been putting some miles on it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad vehicle.
No, but there's a huge difference between any kind of luxury car. You really probably don't want to be the second owner of a luxury car out of warranty, especially since most dealerships can't even sell warranties on the majority of luxury cars. The aftermarket warranty companies won't touch them, which tells you something, right? The only way
Well,
to get a warranty on a Land Rover is to go to a Land Rover dealership and buy it from them.
iAuto, believe it or not, has a pretty good company to do the Land Rovers,
Oh, well, there you go.
but they're not going to be cheap. I mean, you're going. I mean, when you go into a higher end car, well, number one, you're going to pay more for it. Number two, you're going to pay more for the warranty. But you should be getting a warranty, and that
Sure.
is something we can help you with. That's for sure. I mean, that's
Well, and here, I mean, the best way to ensure that you get some value for your diminished vehicle is to have gap insurance. If the car's totaled, that way you get the loan paid off, because that's really, right now, I think the definitive way to have some protection against it, because, there's people that have paid a lot of money for cars now. And if you're buying something without putting a significant amount of money down, if you don't have 20% down in cash or trade equity, I'd highly advise you get gap insurance, because the last thing you want to do is have the car totaled out and carry over dead money onto your next car.
It's true, but I'll tell you, Gerald, it's hard to get a vehicle totaled out, and it depends on which state that you live in. I mean, it could be 80%. I think Missouri's 80%, isn't it? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I'm not.
certain it
I mean,
is. Some of them are.
it has been pushed now. Yeah, the companies are fixing more than they used to.
Mhm. Now, we had talked a little bit about there may be an option, and that's something that we are looking into as a company at iAuto Agent, is that there's something called diminished insurance.
hmm Diminished value insurance, which
Yeah,
is a
diminished
new
value insurance.
product that's, yeah, a new product that you're seeing sold at dealerships that is really just giving you a payout based on the severity of an accident that you're in. So it's not something that's going through an auto insurance company. It's an insurance product similar to gap insurance
Right.
that you buy at the time of purchase, and cheaper than gap insurance. And what they do is they pay out a dollar amount based on the severity of an accident to just give you some extra money to cover the decline in value in the car. Um, Really good idea, and it's one of the few innovative products that's actually going around dealerships now.
Yeah. I love it, and we're looking into it right now because the chances of something being totaled out is getting lower and lower because all these states, and like if you look at Texas and Florida, don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's like 90% is what it takes. And that's also a scary thing too, while I'm talking about it, is if you do find a vehicle in Texas and Florida, you might want to look a little bit closer into it because their disclosure laws are very, very different on vehicles. So I think that, the one thing is with diminished values is if you do get in an accident, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to go to an insurance company and say, yeah, I want another, let's say it's a $70,000 vehicle. I want another $7,000 for my
hmm
vehicle because of diminished value, 10%. You're going to have a hard time doing it. And even this
That's
attorney
not
that I
happening.
talked to, he said they're extremely difficult to make any type of compensation. And he doesn't even take on diminished value types of cases.
I mean, there's some insurance companies that offer total vehicle replacement. So it's
Mhm.
probably a little bit easier road if the car's totaled, especially if if you have gap insurance and your insurance is saying they do total vehicle replacement, then you're probably fine. But yeah, getting it getting it yourself is going to be really hard. And I think it's something that's going to be growing in
Yeah.
demand just because of the nature of the vehicles now. There's so many electronics in cars. It's so easy to run up a huge bill now. Um, Take a look if you get a chance to see a car with the panoramic roof removed. It's amazing how much electronics, how much circuitry, how many sensors are jammed in that pillar, in between the A, B, C, and D pillars. They used to just be empty dead space. It's all filled with electronics now,
Mhm.
especially if you have a panel roof, because all the electronics that would have ran down the center are jammed onto the pillars now.
Mm.
So you cave in any of the roof, you're going to run up an enormous bill on a car now,
Wow, that's
let
a
alone the cost of a panoramic glass roof. I mean, you're going to have some 10, 12, $15,000 claims, and understandably, are people going to be excited about buying a car that had 10, 12, $15,000 of damage? And when you look at the little image of the Carfax, the whole car is circled with damage. That has to dramatically hurt the ability to sell the car.
boy, that's a good golden nugget, folks. And truly, and this is where I always preach at iAutoAgent.com is our warranties is I think people are crazy not to buy warranties. I really do. And you have to be very careful on which ones you purchase. And we have carefully selected the best companies in the world to provide these warranties at a much lower cost than the dealers too. And you're crazy not to buy one. There's so many electronics on them. One claim pays for it all. It does. So that's
More
just
than
my 2 cents.
heck, most of the head units in cars now, because they're the big touch screens. It has your radio, has your heating and cooling system, has
Sure.
your Bluetooth, your connectivity built in, maybe Blue Link, OnStar, Star Safety, whatever the company calls it. Those head units can run $6,000 to $7,000. And in some cars, if that head unit's broke, the car won't run. So you have to pay for it, and you're not fixing that yourself.
No, absolutely not. And it's the brain. I call it the brain of the car. It is. Everything stems in that darn screen. I was like, so does your car have a screen? Oh yeah, my car has a screen. I'm like, yeah, just wait. Just wait. If that thing goes out, you're in
Yeah.
trouble.
Oh, it's a different era. I'm confident in saying there's literally no one short of a master tech with a current new car brand that can actually work on their own car to any functional degree.
No.
Can
And
you
then they have
change
to
the
buy them.
oil, maybe change a brake pad? Oh, okay, sure, maybe, but guess what? That's not what's gonna run up the bill. That's not what's gonna break. And
No,
because of that reality, that's why the diminished value talk is gonna keep coming over and over and over
it
again. And
will.
yeah, and we'll work on getting the
Yeah.
person that is leading the charge in diminished value protection on.
Yeah,
We'll work on getting
absolutely.
him on to talk about it, because it is a good idea, and it's something that's a little bit unique and something that's different in the auto marketplace right now that I'd like everybody to hear about.
Stay tuned, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us today. If you want to learn more about diminished values, simply send us a comment on our YouTube page, The Auto Authorities. You can go to theautoauthorities.com and send us a message. We will always respond to it. But let us know what you think. Have you been involved in an accident? And did you try to claim a diminished value claim? And were you denied, or maybe you were successful? Let us know. Again, I'm Jay. This is Gerald. We're signing off, and we will see you next week. Peace.